These people didn't like what I said about war wins above replacement. I said, I'm sorry, but Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey just do not impact wins and losses over replacement level players to the extent that you think they do. Like at the most, it's like 0.4 over a replacement. Okay, and a lot of people don't know. So let me put it, let me try explaining it this way, okay? Who is the more valuable human? Who is the MVH? Albert Einstein or Christian McCaffrey? Who's more valuable? Albert Einstein or Christian McCaffrey? It's Albert Einstein, right? Because we've seen approximations of Christian McCaffrey. We've seen LaDainian Tomlinson. We've seen Saquon Barkley. We've seen Marshall Faulk. To a certain extent, Garrison Hurst. If you want to include Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith, Roger Craig, we've seen approximations of Christian McCaffrey. So who is the more valuable human? Obviously, Albert Einstein is. And yet, there were like 20 replacement level scientists right on Einstein's heels. In fact, one submitted his paper on relativity before Einstein did. Now, Einstein's paper was more complete, more expansive, all those things. So Albert Einstein rightfully got the credit for it. But had Einstein, if you remove Einstein from history, it doesn't appreciably change the course of what happened. Like the scientists still figure out relativity eventually, just a little bit of a delay that doesn't significantly alter the course of human history. Okay, like Albert Einstein is like he's like an all-time great left tackle. Albert Einstein is like one of the greatest left tackles of all time. That's what he is. But he's not like a starting quarterback. Only starting quarterbacks affect wins and losses at greater than one game over replacement. Okay, so like for example, Julius Caesar is a starting quarterback. Okay, there's no replacing Julius Caesar. What Julius Caesar did, I'm not only talking militarily, but politically, the whole thing. There's no replacing Julius Caesar. Genghis Khan is a starting quarterback. Now you could argue like it was not long before they were kind of swept off the face of the earth, but they were like, I don't know, like Warren Moon. Genghis Khan is like Warren Moon or something. Like, no, maybe not. Maybe he never won a Super Bowl, but goddamn, he put up some huge numbers, okay? Like, Eisenhower to me, I don't know what Eisenhower did that was like so impressive. I'm not super impressed by Dwight Eisenhower. I feel like I could have done that job. I feel like there are 13-year-olds alive today that have been playing like video games their whole lives, strategy games their whole life, that could have orchestrated logistically Normandy. They could have figured it out. Okay, there's kids playing Call of Duty. They could have figured out Normandy. Okay, I'm positive I could have done Eisenhower's job. There's nothing that occurred to Eisenhower strategically that would not have occurred to me. Probably faster, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, I could have been Supreme Allied Commander. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Is basically a replacement level guy could do as good of a job as the starter. Eisenhower is like a running back. For example, in the Super Bowl, let's just take the Super Bowl, right? What if in the Super Bowl, what if in the Super Bowl we had, I don't know, Raheem Mostert, okay? Instead of Christian McCaffrey, we had prime, healthy Raheem Mostert. Would that game have played out any differently? I think it's the same score. In fact, we might have won that game, actually, with Raheem Mostert instead of Christian McCaffrey, because Raheem Mostert wouldn't have fumbled right before we were about to score in the first quarter. So that's what I'm trying to say. The difference between the starters and the replacement level players, they're big in terms of talent, right? They're big in terms of skill. The gap between the starter and the replacement level is a large gap, but not in terms of wins and losses. Not in terms of wins and losses. I'm trying to think. There's not that many starting quarterbacks in history. Augustus, absolutely, starting quarterback. That's like Julius Caesar and Augustus is like having like Joe Montana and then Steve Young, or Brett Favre and then Aaron Rodgers. Okay, but George Washington, absolutely a starting quarterback, because there's nobody else could have, no replacement level general could have done what George Washington did in terms of walking away. Okay, at the end of that war, he had the only major army on the continent. And there were people in Congress that were like, what is going to happen right now? Like, is he going to surrender power? What's going to go on? And he did. He's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. People thought there might be some tension. There might be some like negotiating. There was no negotiating. He was like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm going back to my plantation and go whip, right? That was it. That was it. There was no, people thought there might be some like a problem with Washington. There was no problem. No negotiation necessary. He just left. So George Washington, irreplaceable in history. You cannot remove him without changing history appreciably. So he is a starting quarterback. He's a Pro Bowl quarterback. I'm trying to think who else. Now Napoleon, I don't know. I feel like a lot of that was timing, to be honest with you. There were other generals put in his place, could have done the same thing, but he was at the right time. Joseph Stalin. I would have greatly outperformed Joseph Stalin in World War II. Okay, you could say, oh, what are you talking about? Come on. If I was in charge of Russia during World War II, it may not have ever gotten to Stalingrad or Leningrad. People don't realize this, but at the start of the war, Russia had the largest standing military in the world. They had the largest standing military. They had some of the most advanced tanks. And these were not nincompoops, contrary to like popular myth. These were not nincompoops. If not for Stalin's purge of the military, if not for Stalin's purge of senior officers, if not for Stalin's unwillingness to listen to intelligence reports that were telling him the invasion was coming, the Russian military would not have performed so poorly in the beginning of the war. So, yeah, if I was in charge, that's an easy win. If I was in charge, they don't even sniff Stalingrad. What are you talking about? No chance. I would have performed much better than Stalin, believe me, in World War II. So, yeah, that's all I'm saying about Christian McCaffrey. I'm not calling him a bum. I'm saying it doesn't matter. Oh, did he lose a step? Did he not lose a step? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because he's a running back. It literally doesn't matter. If he gained a step or lost a step, it doesn't matter because he's a running back. He's Eisenhower. Like, okay. Who cares?